If I didn't have the Medicaid buy-in, my God, I really don't know what would have happened to me. I think I probably would have started back in my old routine of self-medicating with alcohol. I know I probably would have started getting, my depression probably would escalate to a point where I'd probably end up in hospital again.
For SSI recipients, it goes by your gross monthly wages, and you tend to come out ahead, which is a great feeling. So you lose a little bit on SSI, but you gain experience, you gain self-esteem, you gain, a paycheck every week.
When I first had the amputation, and I was so afraid that am I going to make it back, how I'm going to be able to help take care of my family. But I overcame that. I felt that someday that I would be able to go back to work and come off of benefits.
Welcome to another edition of Disability and the Law. This show, entitled Work Incentives Do Work, deals with recent public policy development that offers, often for the first time ever, real opportunities for persons with disabilities to obtain jobs and not lose their essential public-funded health, economic, and other related benefits. I'm Gary O'Brien, Chair of the New York State Commission on Quality of Care and Advocacy for Persons with Disabilities, which is proud to co-sponsor this educational series with the New York State Bar Association. In today's show, you'll hear experts describe the many and varied forms of work incentives which are presently available to persons with disabilities. They will describe in practical terms their origin, scope, and intent. You will also hear from several people with disabilities who have used work incentives and their real-life experiences as to what these incentives have meant to them. I hope you enjoy the show.
The work incentives that I think are most important for people with disabilities are the Medicaid Buy In, the 1619 A and B programs, both of which enable people to keep medical coverage, the availability of impairment-related work expenses as an offset on income, the availability of pass plans, the use of subsidies for folks who are perhaps receiving more money than they're earning, and also the what's often known as the Medicare buy-in, which enables folks to have their Medicare Part B premiums paid by the state when their income is relatively low. A PASS plan, it's an acronym for Plan to Achieve Self-Support. And what a PASS plan enables a recipient of Social Security disability insurance benefits to do is to essentially shelter a portion of it and save it to purchase something or to use for education that will enable the individual to go to work. Some examples would be purchasing an automobile or maybe an accessible van, or using it to pay for college education. And since the Social Security disability insurance money, SSDI money, is sheltered, it's not being considered, it will make the individual eligible for SSI, Supplemental Security Income. So they will be able to have additional income and set aside money to use for a vocational goal. The Medicaid buy-in is, and every state can opt into the Medicaid buy-in. New York did in 2003. It permits folks who go back to work who are disabled and either receiving Medicaid or perhaps not receiving Medicaid but are disabled and need health insurance to buy into the Medicaid program and keep income up to 250% of the federal poverty level. And when they calculate the income, they use all of the deductions and work incentives that are used for SSI and Social Security disability. So in New York, now an individual can earn over $46,000 a year. I don't know the exact number. It may be around $47,000 a year, have $10,000 in resources, and continue to receive their Medicaid benefits. And the reason this is so important is that, well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, some employers simply do not provide health insurance, or they do at a very high expense. And secondly, Medicaid covers things like home care, attendant care, and psychiatric and psychological services to a far greater extent than most employer-sponsored health insurance plans. So this is really a great safety net for folks who are considering going back to work and who want to go back to work but are scared to death of losing the Medicaid health insurance that they're very, very dependent upon. 1619B enables an individual who's receiving SSI, whose income exceeds, now it's approximately $1,700 a month, who will lose their SSI cash benefit to keep Medicaid potentially forever, which is a tremendous, tremendous benefit. It also takes into account the fact that people have incomes that fluctuate. So if their income fluctuates, they'll keep their Medicaid. If their income is low enough, they may continue to get an SSI cash benefit through 1619A throughout their work history. And you have a lot of folks that, because of their disability, are going to have a somewhat erratic work history. They may have months where they're doing really, really well and they can make $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And then perhaps they'll have months where they're not able to work at all or even be hospitalized, and their benefits will reflect that. But they're not going to be thrown off the rolls. That is the important message that needs to get out.